She gave nursing home residents a plant to take care of, just a plant. That small act of control, that tiny sense of autonomy, reduced their mortality rate by 50% within 18 months. 50% from a plant. Now, think about what happens to a man in a relationship where he has no control, where every decision is negotiated, every choice is questioned, where his environment, his time, his money, his friendships are no longer fully his. Psychology calls this learned helplessness, and learned helplessness is lethal. Single men who live intentionally, who design their own days, their own environments, their own rhythms, they activate the same psychological mechanism as that nursing home. Experiment. Control over your own life is not selfishness, it is survival. It is one of the most powerful longevity signals the human brain produces. Now here is the part no one wants to say out loud: the reason society pushes marriage so hard. It is not entirely about your happiness. Psychologists and sociologists have noted for decades, married men are more productive workers, more obedient consumers, more financially predictable. A man with a mortgage, a wife, and children to feed does not quit his job to pursue his passion, does not challenge systems that drain him, does not walk away from comfort, even when comfort is slowly killing him. The single man is, in many ways, psychologically free in ways that make society uncomfortable. Has no one to financially perform for, no image to maintain, no social contract forcing him into roles he never chose, and that freedom, that psychological liberation, activates something deep in the nervous system. It signals safety, and when the nervous system feels safe, truly, deeply safe, it stops burning cortisol, it stops aging at an accelerated rate, it starts healing. This is the dark truth. Not that being single is better, but that unconscious, unchosen partnership is one of the quiet killers hiding in plain sight. So what does this all mean? It does not mean never fall in love. It does not mean relationships are wrong. It means this: know yourself before you give yourself. Understand your stress. Protect your nervous system. Guard your autonomy, whether you are single or not. The men who live the longest are not the ones who found the right person. They are the ones who found themselves first. That is the dark psychology. That is the truth hidden inside the data. And now you know it. If this made you think differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper into the psychology of men, masculinity, and the mind, you know where to find me. Until next time. Everyone tells you to get married, but what if marriage is quietly cutting years off your life? Not a metaphor, not an exaggeration. Science, data, psychology, real studies, real numbers, and the answer will make you deeply uncomfortable, because what kills single men early is not loneliness, it's something far darker, something rooted deep inside the human mind, and once you understand it, you can never unsee it. Stay with me. For decades, society has sold us one idea: get married, settle down, build a family, and they backed it up with a statistic. Married men live longer, and yes, that statistic is real. But here is what they never told you. The reason married men live longer has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with companionship. It has everything to do with psychological survival mechanisms. And when you flip that lens, when you look at single men who understand themselves deeply, the data changes completely, because the men who mastered solitude, they didn't just survive, they thrived. Let's talk about cortisol, your stress hormone, the chemical your brain releases when it feels threatened. In small doses, it keeps you sharp, focused, alive, but chronic cortisol, chronic stress, it destroys your heart. It weakens your immune system. It shrinks your brain. Now, here is the dark part. Relationship conflict is one of the single biggest triggers of chronic cortisol in men. Study after study from Harvard, Oxford, and the American Psychological Association confirms this. Men in high conflict relationships show cortisol levels 40% higher than single men. 40%. That is not a small number. That is the difference between a healthy heart and a heart attack at 52. Single men who live alone, who control their environment, who choose their peace, their baseline stress levels are measurably lower. Their nervous systems are calmer. Their bodies age slower. This is not opinion. This is biology. There is a psychological concept called identity fusion. It means when you are in a relationship, your sense of self slowly merges with another person. For many men, this is deadly, not physically, psychologically, because when your identity becomes husband or partner, you stop asking the most important question a human being can ask. Who am I? What do I want? What is my purpose? Single men, truly self-aware, single men are forced to answer these questions alone. No one to blame. No one to distract them, just themselves. And the men who sit with that discomfort, who face that darkness and don't run. Psychology calls this individuation. Carl Jung spent his entire career studying it. He believed it was the highest form of psychological development, and the men who achieve it, they carry less internal conflict, less suppressed rage, less existential confusion. Their minds become quieter, and quiet minds live longer. In 1976, psychologist Ellen Langer ran an infamous experiment.